It's like the female version of this. What it would look like if I transed out. It just sounds completely and utterly debilitated, wretched, mentally ill mess. Okay, we are not researchers, psychologists, or scientists. Just mentally ill people. We know that much. I feel like what's happened though is we've gone from too much to, if anything, too little. DissociaDID's content nearly cost me my life, and it's only got like 14k views. Well, I don't know. I'm as perplexed as you are about this. And DissociaDID is a massive DissociaDID. I can never say it right. Is a massive channel, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Is this like clickbait? Are you for real? Did you get into their content and nearly top yourself? Like, what happened here? I just hope that this person isn't a like insufferable leftoid mental health advocate, because that's going to really annoy me if that's the case. I hope I could just get on board with what this person is saying without any sort of, you know, issue. But let's find out. Here we go. Here we go, guys.
Misinformation can result in dire consequences.
What the fuck, dude? It's like the female version of this. What it would look like if I transed out, wouldn't I? I don't know. Don't we look quite so? It's just the glasses. It's me. It's me if I was an American woman with mental illness. Okay. Let's just fucking ignore that and continue.
Disclaimer, everything in this video is completely alleged, in Minecraft, not in real life, and for entertainment purposes only. The individual talked about in today's video is anonymous, and therefore I have no proof of anything talked about in this video, all alleged. I do have my email open for anyone who is interested in sharing their personal stories, and
oh. Is this about the person that messaged in, not the creator? Maybe a creator's come and messaged in with a crazy story.
I received one email about someone who was directly influenced by DissociaDID's videos. In this video, we'll be talking about the dangers of misguided advice and the impact it had on this anonymous individual's mental health. The purpose of DissociaDID's channel is to educate about dissociative identity disorder for many individuals seeking understanding and guidance. And for this individual who is trying to understand their own experiences led them down a dangerous path. Trying to comprehend their inner world led to a whole spiral of confusion. This individual found a narrative that didn't align with their truth, and it led to a path of self-destruction. The aim of—
Okay, I'm not sure what to make of this yet. I'm 50-50 on where this is going to go.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Let's dig into the channel a bit and see.
How do I make money off depressed people?
Thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. Michelle Manor. Hi, I'm Michelle. Welcome to Matt. Bro, what the fuck, dude? This is to troll me. Their thing is even welcome to Manation. Welcome to Chud Nation. What the fuck, dude? They're literally a female version of me, but maybe more leftoid and mentally ill. I don't know yet. It's like a mirror image of me. I feel like I've met my doppelganger, and that's a sign of like you're gonna die or something, dude. Slide in the DMs. Well, first of all, that's weird. I'm not talking about that part, okay? First of all. And second of all, no, that'd be odd. That'd be odd if that ever panned out. You look to your side and someone looks just like you is there. I'm not that narcissistic, guys, okay? My channel, Normal Psychology, Mental Health, Commentary, Dissociative Disorders, Strange, Dark and Mysterious, BSW. About me, animals, conspiracy theories, arcane mage, Wiccan, Libra, double Scorpio. Oh no, she's one of those, what is it? Oh. Astrology.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Astrology.
How do I make money off depressed people?
The early got gets the galls, Chud.
Thank you for the $5. Well, no, you got to understand something. It's the mirror image. So some of this is going to be the opposite. I'm completely non-spiritual. I believe in science. I believe in science and Reddit. Okay, I don't believe in this arcane mage Wiccan nonsense. Okay, so it's the mirror image aspect is there. Well, dude, I don't know what a version of Wiccan is. Is it really magic? Or is that just overstated? I thought it was more like religious stuff. I don't know, dude. Okay, listen, I'm skeptical. Let's just see what happens. Maybe this video is going to be more reasonable than I'm anticipating, okay? Let's give it a go. If this ends up becoming a segment, and it probably will, because it did stuff normally does well, there's a great thumbnail in this, isn't there? The fact that literally we're like the mirror image of each other. It's crazy. Am I crazy in that? Am I seeing more than there is? Like, to me, there's a lot of similarity there. Like, we've got some distant relative in the past somewhere, somehow.
Of this person sharing their story is to help others seek the truth and go through reliable sources. Once again, thank you so much for trusting me to share your story with everyone, and let's get into the video.
I like that. I need one of these.
DissociaDID's content and a misinformed friend nearly cost me my life. I will refer to DissociaDID/Kaya with she, her, considering she goes by all pronouns.
Okay.
My life. I will refer to DissociaDID/Kaya with
She's using that weird devil altar thing. Like, what I want to know is how much does she think that DID is, like, legit? And I don't mind if someone, like, dude, I don't know, man. I feel like there's some aspect to it which has got some rooting in truth, right? Like, that doctor guy was saying there's something to it. It's just that the online stuff is bullshit. I don't know, dude. I don't know enough about it, really. But, like, hopefully she would agree that all of this is nonsense. That would be a base level to take someone seriously on this, is that you have to think that the way that DissociaDID presents themselves is total bullshit. That's a fundamental to move forward in a reasonable way on this stuff, right?
she, her, considering she goes by all pronouns, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. I was diagnosed with PTSD, technically PTSD in children 6 years and younger. The DSM-5 doesn't have CPTSD. In 2021, and I am currently in therapy for DID. The story I'm about to share takes place back in 2019, when both those things were still undiagnosed. I was aware of my alters, but I was living in a constant state of fear and denial. This state of denial caused me to refrain from learning about the condition.
So this is them telling the story. This isn't them saying this, by the way. This is a third party that has contacted this individual in order to relay the story, to be absolutely clear, okay? So whatever is being said here is not Michelle Manor, famed Wiccan, and ChudLogic doppelganger, okay? This is another person.
Because I thought if I stopped giving attention to my problems, they'd go away. Disclaimer, they did not. And as a result, I was very naive and impressionable despite being an adult. My symptoms were definitely life disrupted, and I had little memory of—
Because she's missing that gawk.
Okay. Thank you for the $5. I disavow. Thank you.
My early childhood and had spent most of my teenage years living in some sort of daze, but I was functional. My symptoms were manageable, and most switches, those that I'm aware of at least, would only happen if I was triggered. So overall, I would say that my symptoms were manageable before. In 2019, I discovered that all it took to turn something manageable into a complete intangible disaster was an enabler. And that enabler would be a friend of mine who I will call Jay. My already terrible mental health symptoms had become quite overwhelming, and I began finding it harder and harder to function in everyday life. I shared these symptoms with Jay, who approached this in a very
Okay, this person just sounds completely and utterly debilitated, wretched, mentally ill mess, okay? Oh my god, dude. Do you know, one of the big parts of mental illness is, like, you have to push yourself to move forward. And I feel like people like this, these are the kind of bed blobs, I feel, that we talk about, you know? They probably are fucked in the head, but, like, yeah, that sucks, but you got to move forward. You got to find a way to move forward.
Peculiar way. I refer to what I now know as alters as imaginary people I have in the back of my head that influence my thoughts and actions, and sometimes it—
Dude. The voices. The voices. There's voices in my head telling me to do things. It's actually DID. Oh my I don't know if I'm going to be able to take this seriously, man. I didn't know what to... I literally had no idea. I didn't pre-watch this. I had no idea what to make of this. I just saw the title and thought, well, I got to give this a shot and see what's what. And so far, I'm just like, yeah, this person sounds like a totally wretched, mentally ill freak. And I'm like, look, I don't like Disassociated as much as the next person, okay? But, well, dude, it's like, if some mentally ill person comes along and does stupid shit, it's like, off the back of your channel, it's like, well, yeah, that's on them. But then also, it's like, but that's Disassociated's whole thing. So maybe it is more reasonable to be more like, okay, well, you're kind of responsible for this. This is your whole shtick talking about mental illness. Like, it's very clear that, you know, you are bringing about this kind of outcome, bearing in mind that this is your whole content, is talking about and focusing on this stuff, you know? Oh, yeah, the Big Bungie video was great. Yeah, it was really good.
It even feels like they shoved me aside. Back then, the switches were either non-existent or were covered by amnesia, I don't know, but either way, I mostly experienced alters co-consciously. But Jay immediately began talking about wanting to meet them, which I found extremely weird. He was talking about them as if they were their own people. Mind you, I knew little to nothing about what exactly I was experiencing. Jay asked about their names, their personalities, and the roles I believed they have. It was also oddly specific and confusing.
Bro. Jay is thinking about that TikTok dollar. He is thinking, God, if we can, you know, we can tease a little bit of this out, we can get a TikTok account set up and we'll be fucking laughing. Absolutely monetize the shit out of this. Yeah, give them all names and little weird characters. Let's do it. Let's fucking get this show on the road.
Used me so much. Like, fuck if I know or care what roles some creature that brainwashes and controls me takes on. The role of making me want to unalive myself? After a long conversation of beating around the bush, he finally opened up to where he learned all of this. Yup, you guessed it. Dissociated and DID.
Oh, that's the twist. So he was actually watching Disassociated. Wait, okay. That revelation, I think, has totally switched this around for me. And it seems like this person has clearly got some shit going on. Let's put it that way. And someone that's trying to help has clearly just gone and looked up DID. And they found the channel. And this is what has given them this shoddy information, when obviously this person needs some sort of psychiatric support, not some YouTuber telling them what's what. Okay. I think I might be a bit more on board with the criticism here, assuming the story's true. It is obviously alleged. But yeah, I mean, if you go and look at the content, you can easily... Like, if your understanding of DID is through Disassociated's channel, of course that's what you're going to say, because that's how it's presented, as a little fun, jaunty thing. And it's like a little character quirk that you can, you know, oh, who's this person coming forward now? Yeah, let's do that.
DID communities on Discord. He explained to me that what I experienced was called DID/OSDD. Thanks for diagnosing me over Discord, Jay. You beat my therapist to it. And he explained that these people are called alters. He made sure to let me know that his DMs were a safe place for those alters and invited me to Discord servers that were full of fakers and misinformation. Without realizing that by doing so, he opened the gates to a flood of unimaginable mental torture.
Oh my God, dude, that's wild. The thing, because here's the thing, right? Obviously, I don't know this person or whatever. They could be making it all up, okay? So take it with a pinch of salt, obviously. But I could easily imagine that someone would be experienced, because, you know, as much as you want to argue about how real DID is and whatever, I think it's undeniable that there's going to be people out there who have got stuff going on like this, right? Like schizophrenia isn't one of the things of schizophrenia that you actually do have these voices in your head and stuff like that. Is that a fucking meme? I don't really know, to be honest with you. But anyway, the point is, there's people with this stuff going on, and if your introduction to it is Disassociate, and then you end up in a Discord server full of total freaks who are just making it up for content and attention, like, it's the worst thing that could happen. And this is what Disassociate is putting out there. So, of course, that's the inevitability that some people are going to go down this pathway. When the only thing you should be hearing about is go and see a fucking therapist. And Disassociate plays this game where it's like, oh no, it's not medical advice and I'm not a doctor and it's down there somewhere. But that isn't really made clear in the content. It is all just like talking about it and making it juicy and making it entertaining and making it interesting. Yeah. Depends on the variation. Psychosis. Dude. Psychosis. If you could have psychosis for a day just to see what it's like, would you do it? I reckon I would, just for a laugh.
Sure. I guess this enabled something within myself because as a result, I suddenly started experiencing long, full-blown blackouts, which I didn't remember having before. According to people in my life, I was allegedly, as I couldn't recall it out.
Oh my god. There's a funny story about that, actually. Did you guys know there's a bot in Discord for alters? Like, you can give it a command and you can have separate profiles in the server through the bot for each alter. Back when the server was a lot more soy, we had someone that claimed to be Did, and they asked for that bot or one of the bots like that to be installed. And as soy as the server was, okay, that was a red line. That was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not fucking putting in some bot to facilitate your mental illness. That is not happening. And it didn't happen. Okay? Who remembers this person? This is years ago now. They were obviously a total degen freak or something like that, right? Dude, then there was the pronoun thing. Then there was the pronoun one. I was a bit soft on that at first. I think we set up one neo-pronoun role because someone wanted it. And then when they left, I said, I'm not doing that again. It's he, she, they. That's it. Those are your options, okay? If you don't like that, tough shit, okay? We're not fucking doing it. And now we got rid of pronoun things completely because it's fucking dumb. Like, who cares, bro? I don't care what your fucking pronouns are. Just speak like normal people, okay? But yeah. Lots of funny woke shit that went on.
Afterward, displaying bipolar behavior, and people were worried about me. Even a coworker pointed out that I was behaving strangely during staff lunch. This had never happened before.
Oh my god. She turned Asian. That is a fucking crazy situation. She turned Asian and started eating noodles.
Stood out before. It was almost as if my symptoms switched from covert
she's black.
to overt within the span of a few months. But I kept trying to follow Jay's, DissociaDID's, advice, and I felt like my alters were also, to a certain extent, trying to copy the way DissociaDID's alters presented themselves to the world, but I really can't speak for them. But I know that I did. I desperately tried to pretend there was an inner world where there was none. I tried to force switches on camera so I could watch back and validate myself by comparing them to DissociaDID's. They were nothing like them because an outsider can't even notice them in my case. I kept trying to make sure I was a functional system that was a bunch of smiles and sunshine, even though I was far from that.
Okay,
and
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Did you also know about Pinata, a DissociaDID partner who was outed as a nonce and lolicon and for whom DissociaDID swept for in her community?
yeah, I want to say I am somewhat familiar with that. I think I saw some stuff on Kiwi Farms about it, but I don't know the ins and outs of it. I used to lurk your shop. Wait, what? Subbed you rule, man. No worries. Thank you for the sub. Wait, what does it? Wait, what do you mean? Do you mean chub or what are you talking about? What are you stalking me? How much do we... Dude, this is so difficult, man, because I'm a big believer in, like, you can't put too much onus on the content creator for someone, like, watching your shit and going totally schizo and fucking crazy and shit like that. It's like... This is almost like stochastic terrorism, but for dissociative disorder. Dude, I'm like, I don't like this person, and I want to go all in. Like, what role does the J person play? Does DissociaDID do enough to really make sure that people are not watching the content because, you know, to get the medical advice? Yeah, I think just fundamentally she's doing something wrong in pushing out the messaging that she is. So that's the issue in and of itself. And then people come along and maybe get taken in by it. Yeah, it's almost like, as much as it's fun to watch this and have a chat about it and mock some of it and have a laugh, I think that this revelation, it's like, whether this is happening or not, it doesn't really matter to me, because the fundamental thing that DissociaDID is doing is wrong. in terms of putting information out there that to me seems completely like unverifiable. There's no documentation you can read that backs up like what she's talking about and what she's putting out there. You know, it is pure 100% nonsense that is going out into the world. And so if someone comes along and gets taken in by it, it's truly the JQ. Well, thank you, Nicholas. Thank you for that. What do you mean? What's Jewish about this? Yeah, it's almost like you want more labeling or more notice that's the case. Like, what do you see if you go on to DissociaDID's channel? I'm pretty sure it's very limited. And you kind of get maybe a statement somewhere.
Hello.
Oh my god, dude. Yo, okay. Bro, we're gonna watch that one next. Dude, she's done a video, boundaries, effective boundaries and how to maintain them. That could be content. Anyway.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another video by DissociaDID. This is a video that has been requested by our patrons. If you would like to join our Patreon, it is patreon.com/Kaya & Co.
There's the show.
Okay, so this is Mike's original drawing that he did in 5 minutes on a piece of scrap paper. So I pulled it into Procreate and I left him a note telling him basically what he needed to do. I said, Mike, redraw this please. Add a new layer or erase this writing and then draw. The pencil is set up like a normal pencil. You don't need to change it if you don't want to. Go wild, Soren. You can tell pretty much immediately that...
So now they're writing notes to one another. Bro, this is such bullshit, dude. Show me in the DSM fucking 5 or whatever where it says your alters will write notes to one another, actually. What does it say here? Where's the disclaimer? Okay. So this was written in 2021. We are not mental health professionals. These videos were made from what we believe to be accurate at the time of their creation, from sources made accessible to us on our own personal experiences. Oh my god, dude. Literally, it came to me in a dream. Source, me, it came to me in a dream. New or updated information may not become available since these videos were made that we may not be aware of or were not aware of at the time of making the content. We try our best to keep up to date with accurate information, but we are not researchers, psychologists, or scientists, just mentally ill people, we know that much, trying to spread awareness and validation as best we can. Please do not use our videos as your only source of information or as a replacement for professional help. That's the difficulty. Is if there's a disclaimer on there now, like if this disclaimer's on here and you watch this and you don't seek out professional assistance, that's on you. So I think that the disclaimer, I'm like, yeah, you've got a disclaimer on there making it clear. And if you haven't read it, that's on you. But then I think someone's just said in chat about this, was this disclaimer always on there? And if there wasn't a disclaimer at the time the person is watching the video and that's not made clear, I think there is more culpability for not making that clear. And I think if you're presenting yourself as an expert and people are listening to you, then that is somewhat on you. You got to bear some brunt of the responsibility of what comes from that. Well, DissociaDID plays a game where they've got this disclaimer, but they also present themselves in a very authoritative way in order to make it seem like, you know, that they're speaking confidently about this and therefore know all about it. Chud, for a long time, she didn't use disclaimers. She started it after that guy she's being sued by came in and suggested it. That's why the lawsuit is titled The Disclaimer, because he's saying that disclaimer is his copyrighted material. Oh. Maybe we should look into that tomorrow. Where's all the videos about that? I don't know if I will, but I want to do that at some point at least. Anyway, I don't really care about this video. It was just to see the disclaimer. Listen, Nerd the Ninja, I'm taking you at your word on this for now, okay? Your word is your bond. I'm assuming you're telling the truth. I'm going to accept that as fact for now, okay?
Anything to do with my alters nauseated me and made me want to blow my brains out. It wasn't
The real question is, are you an expert on GOK? Unfortunately, the comments that suggest my GOK knowledge are overstated, I'm afraid to say.
It wasn't fun and quirky, it felt like possession, and it was negatively impacting every aspect of life. They were not friends, they were a trauma response. But for the part above, I cannot blame Jay nor DissociaDID. No one was to blame for the way my brain reacted to coming up to.
This just all seems too perfect as well. I'm like, is this a real person? It's like the perfect thing that would happen to someone who's struggling with something and listens to DissociaDID. I just think, as fun as it is to watch this, doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, if she's putting the content out and isn't having previously put the disclaimers on, that is somewhat on her. You don't need something to happen for it to be wrong, I don't think. So it doesn't really matter whether this is real or not. I'm skeptical. Let the record show I'm skeptical as to whether this is real. Dude, what is this? David Spiegel. Wait, isn't that the guy that did the video? I'm pretty sure that's the guy that made the video that was shitting on all the disassociated TikTok people, wasn't it? I know it's not, it's someone else. I got it wrong. Okay, anyway, let's finish this and then we'll actually watch a disassociated video. That'll be fun.
Someone for the first time in my life. But for the next part, I definitely can blame both. Because whenever I protested or expressed any discomfort with these new experiences, Jay would keep addressing the issue of me not considering them to be separate people and claimed that I was harming them by considering them as part of myself, and acted like I was being a cunt towards real people instead of parts of myself. I still struggle to view them as more than that to this day. I wasn't even talking to them, I was only talking about them. In the meantime, I also started watching.
Can you do a GOK tour?
What is a GOK tour? That sounds grotesque. Are you talking about that Hok Tour woman? Bro, she is, to be fair to her, she has managed to actually turn what is a memeable street interview into something pretty decent. Fair play to her.
DissociaDID's content to try to learn more about how to treat my alters properly and how to learn to communicate. Jay and DissociaDID both made me believe this was how it was supposed to be. They were entitled to their own lives. Jay knew what he was talking about because DissociaDID was an expert and
Chloe does in fact have DID, but I don't believe she has this many personalities. There are too many of them. I have DID, but my 4 alter personalities are contained at this time. So you're saying that maybe they do have the underlying condition and they overstate it?
But how do I make money
content
off depressed people?
GOK do dilate that thing.
Thank you for the $5. Yeah, I mean, my understanding of it is if you do have the condition, it's like, it's not a fun game. Like, you don't want to have these various abstract personalities or whatever. It's supposed to be, you keep it on lockdown or something, right?
she knew what was best for me. But obviously, that was super far from the truth. It was hurting me, and it made me open up about my condition to people who were never supposed to know, and would abuse that disadvantage by asking and alter things I didn't want to answer myself, or cut me off / respond to me with memes making fun of fakers. Most of the time, I didn't know who I was, where I was, or even who my own reflection was. I couldn't get through a single day without blacking out or having a mental breakdown. My boss was upset with my low performance. All my days would blend into—
See, the way that this person is describing it lines up with my understanding of what this kind of PTSD triggered shit that happens. You have these blackouts and it's not a fun game, right? That's what I've heard and read and seen about this supposed condition, right? So this is why I'm like, this could be real, but then it's too perfect. I don't know. And I don't know enough about Michelle Manor to know if their word is indeed their bond. Right?
To one, and at one point, the stress of all this combined caused me to fall physically ill to the point where I lost nearly 10 kilograms within a month or two. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was spiraling out of control. I was a shell of who I once was, while Jay would happily interact with what was killing me inside like he was doing them a favor. He acted like he cared more about them than he did about me. It was always my name and co, my name and friends. I no longer existed to him.
Sometimes he
Okay, that's
blacks out for
wonderful.
long
But how do I
periods of
make
time,
money
then
off
wakes
depressed
up to
people?
find Chud himself like surrounded
got
by
your shit on
goths,
that thing.
scared and confused.
Okay, thank you for the Prime sub, Smeg Shroom. That's appreciated. Nicholas, thank you for the Gok tour. When are these Gok memes going to stop? Okay? It's not that, listen, I'm not bothered about them. I just think we need to come up with something else, okay? No more Goks.
After all, they quote-unquote weren't parts of a whole. In what fucking world, Jay? So I was just going to have to learn to love them or else I was a bad person, right? I tried to do exactly what DissociaDID and her minions were telling me to do, which some went along with it and some didn't. I was a complete train wreck and the thought of unaliving was constantly in my mind, to the point where I got dangerously close to actually carrying it out. It wouldn't be fair to pin this all on DissociaDID, and maybe Jay was more to blame than she was, but I do blame her for claiming to be a mental health advocate who knew what she was talking about, when she really, really didn't. Her content is heavily anti-recovery and harmful for other fragile and impressionable people with undiagnosed mental conditions, who are in need of a real professional instead of a con artist. Whenever I
see, this is the thing, is that, dude, how much can a disclaimer really cover DissociaDID? When you watch the video, and the implication that you get, this is someone with knowledge and expertise that's talking about this. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm like, no, that's kind of fucked. That is kind of fucked, and it's why making like content out of this is wrong. And it doesn't seem like, you know, the way she talks and then she throws up a little thing and it's like, oh, this source says this, never really backs anything up, never has substance to back up all the things she says. Little snippets here and there are maybe linking up with certain psychiatric information. But a lot of it is just her experience and talking about it, presented in an authoritative way.
Tell people about my condition, I am terrified that DissociaDID's channel is the first thing they stumble upon when they look up DID. This whole experience left me terrified of whoever I opened up to, even if they're close friends, might be misinformed and will talk to a more naive alter into doing harmful things. The whole TikTok faker culture that also partially stemmed from DissociaDID's content kept me from seeking help for years because I was scared that my therapist would view me as one of them and wouldn't believe me. I'm not really sure where I was going with this story altogether, but I just think it's important for everyone who has fallen victim to DissociaDID's misinformation.
Dude. Nerd the Ninja, are you for real? You've actually got the full case here. That's nuts. Okay,
/ faking culture to share their story. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this person's story. If you resonated with anything they talked about, you are not alone. If you're struggling with your mental health or have been affected
by the way, this is why I don't use a ring light. It would just shine in my glasses. I need some sort of lighting. This is fine for now. This lighting's okay for what we're doing here. But when I move eventually and get my new place, however that is, I'm probably going to get like a more professional setup, so I'll look nicer.
By similar experiences, there is help out there. Everybody's journey is unique, so it's important to seek the help of a professional that can help to tailor your personal needs. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please don't hesitate to call the National.
Yes, I know. Yes, she looks like me. We already discussed this at length at the start of this when she first showed her face. Yeah, blah blah blah. God, you guys are so boring. You're like fucking you're like Jake Weddle levels of comedy today. Okay, sort it out.
Prevention hotline. It is available 24/7. If you've been impacted by similar experiences or have your own story to share, feel free to comment below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for being a part of this important conversation, and peace out.
I need one of those. I need one of those. And then it comes up with something. Don't kill yourself, guys. Do not kill yourself. It's not over yet. Yeah, that video was fine. I mean, you know, this is a smaller creator, I guess, than me even. I don't know. That was fine. It's just, I can't speak to whether it's true or not. I've got literally no idea. It's literally a YouTuber I'm not familiar with saying, hey, this person sent me this story, and this is what they said. I mean, at least DissociaDID is being shit on. That's all that I care about. Oh, wait, hang on. I got it already. Oh, hang on. Wait. There we go. Hey! I forgot about that. That was all Dottie's work. Thank you. That's actually really good. Okay, what is this you sent me, Netherlands? You going in deep on this disassociated stuff. Dude, I should just bite the bullet and at some point do a segment on this. On 6th of August 2020, Mr. Costa and Miss Wilkinson cooperated in the creation of the disclaimer. But so this is the guy making the claim in a court document. So it isn't 100% confirmed this is the case. This is the claim that he's made in taking her to court. Is that right? Mr. Costa said that after observing that Miss Wilkinson was receiving criticism online for describing herself as a professional, okay, and the channel a mental education service. That sounds wild. Even though she was not professionally qualified, he looked into the manner in which similar channels describe themselves. He took the view that the channel should stop using the term professional and should clarify the limitations on the advice given. In WhatsApp exchanges, Mr. Costa, so that was 2020, so that was after this other person came forward to claim this. So it's reasonable that if it is true, they might have, they could well have gotten the wrong end of the stick in thinking this person was more qualified than they were to speak on this. Mr. Costa shared his view with Miss Wilkinson. She drafted a disclaimer. Mr. Costa pleaded case is. D2 wrote the first draft of the disclaimer. The claimant added a sentence and made some other minor edits. Okay. I mean, this is just about the discussion over, you know, who created this disclaimer. But then there's the disclaimer as it exists now, right? Mr. Costa, dude, this is fucking, I need to go through this, dude. Mr. Costa was granted manager access to the channel. He said he was shocked to find out that Miss Wilkinson was making money from the channel, and presumably how much. He felt she had lied to him and others about it, and said that he had become concerned that therefore she would use his work for unethical purposes. He added that he was worried about Miss Wilkinson's mental health. What the fuck? Okay, we're saving this for another day. I'm going to do a bit bigger segment on the court case thing. That'll be a banger segment. Okay. Right. Let's watch this video about boundaries. Let's see how this stacks up. Here we go.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another video by DissociaDID. This is Soren and this video is going to be about boundaries. Lots of people talk about boundaries or are happy to sort of set boundaries but then struggle at the halfway point, which leads to your boundaries being ineffective. So first of all, we're going to tell you what boundaries are, we're going to tell you some examples of good, positive, healthy boundaries, we're going to tell you how to set them effectively and also how to follow through. So what are boundaries? Boundaries are a way of preemptively saying no to something in some circumstances. You are revoking your consent to an action or a behaviour and you are saying, no, I don't want this to happen in any future circumstances. But essentially you are expressing that you either do or don't want something to happen at any point in the future. A boundary is you saying no. Now, how is this different from just saying, oh, I didn't like that?
Help. I was kidnapped and locked in a trunk for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Now I have the ID. Where's Alec Baldwin?
Thank you, Floppy Dong, for the $5 trillion.
Boundaries are rules about how people can engage with you.
Bro, you may think she's hot, but I can assure you, you're not her type, okay? Unless you're some sort of non-binary wretch. I don't think that she's going to be into you. Yes, guys, please use the correct pronouns. Soren is currently fronting in the system. Please use he, him pronouns appropriately. Thank you.
They are rules and they are not suggestions. This is why it's important that people are made aware of your boundaries. For example, if someone were to enter a space or take a test, you need to know what the rules are before you engage in that situation. Everybody knows what these rules are. Everybody would expect to receive a consequence if they broke those rules or did not abide by those rules, because they are there for a reason. Boundaries are the same kind of idea. Rules, not suggestions. If somebody places a boundary with you, this isn't just a, oh, I'm uncomfortable with this and I'd rather maybe you didn't do it again. It is, do not do this under any circumstances. This is my boundary. This is my rule. If you can't follow this rule, then there will be X circumstance, which we will go into in a minute about what sort of consequences may be appropriate. Now, because of this, if you've made somebody aware of a boundary.
Oh, what is this? It's a year old, but she's your favourite Irish lass.
Every time that I think that this story is over,
Hey! I like Vangelina Scove. Is it Scove or Scov? Okay. I'm probably not going to do this today anyway. We'll save it. We'll save it for tomorrow, I think. Yeah, I think we'll do the court case stuff. That looks like it could be fun. We love a court document.
It should be taken seriously if that boundary is broken. If it was a genuine accident that didn't revolve around anything severe or endangering or illegal or something like that, perhaps then you could be like, oh, okay, I understand that you weren't aware, make sure it doesn't happen again, or there will be X consequences. But if somebody...
Boundaries are not a way to control other people. You cannot control other people's actions. Boundaries are a way to communicate what treatment you find acceptable and what actions you will take if this isn't respected. It tells other people how you want to be treated and how to build a healthy relationship with you. Listen, there used to be rape. A lot of rape, okay? Rape was happening all the time back in the day. It was Rape City. Okay, so, you know, a husband and a wife, you know, it was like, oh yeah, well, if you're the wife, you got to fucking take it even if you don't want it. And that was the considered situation. Okay. Now, I think we've obviously progressed from there. And I think we recognize that even if you're married, you're allowed to say no to your partner. You're allowed to say, I'm not feeling it tonight and whatever. And that's okay. Or the classic, oh, I've got a headache. I feel like what's happened though is we've gone from too much to, if anything, too little. I know that sounds crazy, but what I mean by that is we've got to a point where everything is fucking rape. Like there's so little rape now. We're finding things to be rape that aren't rape. And this is the problem with some of this boundary type conversation. You know? We've got because there's not enough rape out there, we've got our eye off the ball, and now we're seeing everything as rape, even though it's not. Is it insane? I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds insane, but just think about what I'm saying and you'll see that I'm correct. Because it's not just, you know, it used to be when I was younger, when I was growing up, was to the knife to the throat, forced penetration type stuff. Okay? I'm comfortable to say that that was bad, first of all. And secondly, to say that I think that there's more stuff that you can consider within that bracket of. But we've got to a point, and you see this all the time in the reviews. Part of the joke of the review thing is that a lot of the time it hasn't even happened. And what we're actually dealing with is like a bad communication or a misunderstood prompt or body language or something like that has occurred, right? Is she even talking about? I think that, you know, a boundary conversation led to its conclusion, okay, will end up being about, won't it? What is the ultimate form of boundary denialism? It's someone. Why are you guys acting so weird about this? Bro, what am I saying that's wrong? I know the word scares people, okay? I know you're terrified of rape, but what is the substance of what I'm saying that's wrong? Do you disagree that we've got to a point where we see lots of things as rape or even sexual assault that would not have been considered rape and sexual assault a little while ago? And there's a portion of those that I think are acceptable to keep in that category. But then there's another portion as well, which is like, this is absurd. Like, why are we even considering this to be anything close to that? We're diminishing the concept of it by calling this stuff that thing.
Is knowingly breaking a boundary that they are aware that you have, that has been communicated to them previously, it should not be treated as a small mistake. If they are knowingly breaking that boundary, they are aware of their behavior and what they're doing, they know that boundary.
I thought she's talking about boundaries in general, not freaking sexual boundaries. Well, guys, all roads lead to rape.
exists and you have communicated it to them previously, that is not a small mistake. Like I said, boundaries are not suggestions, they're rules. If people break boundaries, they're either harming you, disrespecting you, or they're testing you. Now, if they weren't aware of the boundary, or it was a genuine small mistake, something that couldn't really have that much of an impact, then that would be different. But if they are aware of A, the boundary, B, that their behavior is about to break that boundary, and then they do it anyway, that is a big deal. Now, we're aware that...
I mean, look, I've got to be honest with you. The reason I'm talking about rape so much is that's not really... I'm a bit bored of this, to be honest. Listen, I thought this was going to be more entertaining than it is. It's just talking about boundaries. It's the most boring shit going, okay? Yeah, obviously, if someone says, don't do something and you do it, that's fucked up, okay? There's obviously exceptions to this. Like, if someone's like, I don't want you to touch me ever, and you fucking fall over dying in a burning building, it's reasonable that you might touch them in that situation. Like, obviously, there's extremist circumstances. But I don't know, dude. Don't rape. Don't rape, guys? Is that too much to ask? Nah, it's fine. I've got another thing we can move on to. Listen, I took a shot from the hip. It didn't pan out how I wanted it to. Maybe there's more content and juice later, but I'm not feeling this. I've reacted too much today. It's okay. It happens. We got some juice out of the DID's stuff anyway.